presents NASCAR. Today, it's NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Watkins Glen, New York. 5 former winners at the Glen are in the starting field today, including Kyle Petty, who drove to victory lane in a rain-shortened race here in 1992. Hi, everybody. Bill Weber along with Wally Dallenbach and Benny Parsons. Thanks for having us in for the race. The day Kyle went to victory lane was a wild afternoon here at the Glen. We expect to see more of that today. BP still a little bit under the weather, but you got to be a race fan yesterday. I imagine you liked what you saw.
Bill, I loved it. What a great race between Kurt Busch and Robbie Gordon yesterday. Last lap, that's what you want to see, somebody trying to win on the last lap. Watch this. Robbie Gordon through the grass on the inside and bangs into the 39 car. The 39 car goes through the grass and holds the lead and goes on to win. But exactly what you want to see, guys trying to win on the last lap. But Wally, today, Kurt Busch in victory lane yesterday and earlier today said that with that 2 car trying to make the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup, he can't quite race like that on the last lap.
Well, we'll see. I mean, some of these guys are definitely going to be points racing, but I think some of these guys are hired to do a job, like Scott Pruitt, and they're trying to keep the car in the top 35 in points. But if you get down to the end of it, and these guys can smell the front, guys like Robbie Gordon, if Robbie Gordon's up there, he's going for it. He doesn't have no points to worry about it. So hopefully Robbie Gordon will be up there because I think it's going to be a fun race. They always say they're points racing, but when it gets close, different story.
Now, when they throw the green flag here, the leaders will be at the front of the field, but the real racing will be going on about the middle of the field back.
Yeah, it really will. It's kind of weird on this race because especially when we get into strategies a little bit later on what everybody's doing, but everybody's going to settle down in the front, but you're right, Bill. The middle is going to have some great racing. There's some good guys trying to get track position, and it should be fun to watch.
It was a blast on Saturday afternoon. We expect the same this afternoon. It's a beautiful day here, temperature in the upper 70s. The sun is shining, and the fans have come from all over the Northeast and around the country to watch the stars of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series compete on a road course for the 2nd time this season. The words you've been waiting for? Let's go trackside and get the command.
And now, race fans, it is time for the most famous words in motorsports. Once again, our Grand Marshal, AMD Executive Bill LaRosa.
On behalf of AMD around the world and all of our employees, gentlemen, start your engines!
Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race. Budweiser congratulates Kurt Busch, his 3rd pole of 2006. We'll see him in the shootout at Daytona in 2007. Here's the starting grid for today's NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race at the Glen. Kurt Busch on the pole, 1 from the pole yesterday. Casey Kane starts outside row 1.
Inside of row 2, Ryan Newman. And the big winner on road course is Jeff Gordon on the outside.
Go to row 3, Brickyard 400 winner Jimmy Johnson next to Robbie Gordon in that 7 car. Keep your eye on that today.
And there we find Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart. And I think Wally's, can you talk to Kevin back there, you think?
Well, we can give it a try, BP. I know they're pretty far away, but let's see if we can reach them. Hey, Kevin, this is Wally D in the booth. Can you hear me?
Oh, Wally, go ahead.
Well, it was fun for us yesterday. I don't know how it was out there for you, but it was a fun Busch race. What's your guys' strategy for today?
Well, I think right now, keep it on the track, first of all, keep everything together, and you know, make a couple pit stops here. So, other than that, our GM Goodwrench Chevrolet has been pretty good all weekend, just going to have to take care of the brakes.
Yeah, that's a big issue here. Everybody knows that for sure. What are you guys, do you have a plan and you are just going to stick to the plan no matter what as far as making your pit stops and strategy today?
Now everything should be good. The brakes are the biggest concern of mine, and the rest of it, they tell me will be fine. So we'll go from there.
Okay, good luck, Kevin.
Thank you.
Kevin Harvick had a strong run here on Saturday, the race that was won by Kurt Busch. And, of course, Robbie Gordon finished 2nd. You take a look at the rest of the starting grid. Former series champion Terry Labonte is back there. You see in row 16, Bill Elliott. There'll be a new driver in that car next week for Evernham Motorsports. He's next to Scott Riggs. Michael Waltrip, Paul Menard back there in row 17. Row 18, Martin Truex Jr. and Bobby Labonte in the 43. Behind them, Joe Nemechek and former Watkins Glen winner Kyle Petty. Dale Jarrett back in row 20 with Reed Sorensen. Greg Biffle in a backup car is in row 21 with Sterling Marlin. And Brian Simo starts 43rd this afternoon here at the Glen. Take a look at the guys that did not make the race and the guys that are going to the back. Mark Martin with an engine change. He's back there with Sterling Marlin. Biffles in a backup car. And Mark Goossens also going to the back, the young driver from Belgium. Field working pace laps here at Watkins Glen. The green flag coming up after a final report from pit road when we come back to the Glen. Cars are on the track. Let's get the final stories from pit road. Here's Matt.
Bill, you've already heard a lot of concerns about fuel, brakes, and also trying to conserve and pad point leads. But if your board said, that I think is where the E-Ticket ride sits today, back in the 15th position. An impressive road course specialist with awesome credentials. And his goal today, just one, go to victory lane. He doesn't have any concerns about points. This is his final race of 2006 in the 60 car. He has a lot of success in NASCAR. He's got a first in the Truck Series, a second in Busch, and he has a third right here in Nextel Cup. He says, keep an eye on the 60 today. He has a great race car, and he intends to show it and become the first road course specialist since Mark Donohue back in '73 to go to victory lane. Dave?
Matt, here's what road course specialist Ron Fellows has at stake today. His team that he's driving for this weekend is in the danger zone in owners' points. They're 37th. They had no guaranteed spot in today's race. They hired Ron to, first of all, qualify them into this race and then to hold a position that might get them into the owners' points next week. So Ron isn't going to do anything stupid out there, even though he's a very good road racer. What it does mean, he's in his comfort zone. If he can race for the win, he will. Watch Fellows today. Marty?
Well, Dave, let me give you the other end of the spectrum with several guys in this field who aren't so good at road course racing, including some battling for the championship, like Kyle Busch, who is currently 4th in the championship standings, or tied for 4th in the championship standings, who admits this is not his best thing, not the best discipline that he does. He told me a moment ago, if I come out of here with a top 15, I am happy today. When they listed the tracks coming into the chase, they said, you know what, this is the #1 track we're worried about, Watkins Glen. If we can leave there with a top 10, top 15 finish, it's almost like a win for us. Alan?
Well, Marty, let's talk about something a lot of the crew chiefs face today, and that is an unusual pit strategy. You've already heard fuel alluded to a couple of times on the broadcast. Where normally on an oval track race, you start at the green flag and run as far as you can on fuel before pitting. Because you can run a green flag pit stop here at Watkins Glen without losing a lap, things are backwards here. You start at the finish, lap 90, and subtract the number of laps, pitting as soon as you can. If you stop sooner than everyone else and get lucky and catch a caution flag, the rest of the cars pit under yellow and fall in behind you on the racetrack. You've just gotten a free pass by all of those cars on the speedway. One of these teams, perhaps Kurt Busch's, perhaps Robbie Gordon's down the turn 1 end of pit road, might catch that lucky caution today. It might be the difference between winning the race and finishing, say, 15th. Bill?
Thanks, Alan. You guys have a great day down there. To see the entire pit map, go to NASCAR.com's homepage and click on Pit Map. Jimmy Johnson, a winner 1 week ago at Indianapolis, trying for 2 in a row. The conversation on his radio just a few moments ago.
Jimmy, the one thing that we're going to do a little bit different from the very start is I want you to try to conserve fuel from the get-go. Want to get a really good fuel mileage reading on this first stint, okay? Easy into the corner, short shifting, doing all that kind of stuff. No scrubbing the tires under caution.
And don't get passed. Other than that, you know, that's going to be tough to do. I mean, obviously, the short shifting is something you can get away with, but or you've got to run hard down into these corners. You know, these guys are going to be all over you under braking.
And road racing, I love it because you see more strategy at road races than any other racetracks we go to. These guys are going to pit as soon as they can get within a window.
Well, really what you want to do is you want to be single file going up through the S's. So, you know, whether you're on the inside or the outside, you need, whoever you're racing with, you need to give a little bit and get single file, because you can't run side by side up through the S's without bumping into each other or causing a problem, or losing a lot of time on the guys that are running single file through there. So you have to be real careful getting through one. Hopefully everybody will get through there without making a mistake on downshifting or braking, because everybody's so close. But you really got to just thread the needle going through the S's, then go racing after the first lap.
I talked to a crew chief in the garage area this morning, and he was concerned about a lot of wrecks today because he doesn't feel like we're going to have a lot of giving. a lot of taking, but not much giving.
Well, yesterday in the Busch race, we saw a lot of that giving earlier and a lot of that taking later, didn't we? We'll see what happens here this afternoon. A lot of guys racing for the win, a lot of guys looking at their